and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to speak today. Thank you. We have a ministry called Agape World, which is to do with Second World War, and it's the reconciliation between Japan and all the nations who Japan has messed up in the Second World War. And if you are here, the families of the victims, I apologize what happened in the past. Okay, so this started in 1988. Okay, so the title today is "You Are Precious," and so I was from the countryside in Japan, deep into the mountain, that sort of place, and I met when I was in Tokyo studying. I met an Englishman, and we got married, and I didn't know anything about Jesus. I never registered his name in my mind until I met him, and don't know anything about Christianity. Yeah, and then when I was reading the Bible, this "You are precious in my sight." Yeah, this word kept on coming whenever I opened the Bible. And then at first I thought it was nothing to do with me. God doesn't love me, sort of thing. But as I came across this word, gradually I start believing God can love anybody. And I was healed emotionally. And then we had two sons. When they were very small, because my husband only had his mother, so we had to go to England, London. We lived in London 5 years after coming from Japan. My husband went to the Lord, to live with the Lord by plane crash, and I couldn't speak English, terrible English, and everything was done by my husband. I did nothing, really. And then suddenly, I was all alone, and my mother-in-law was blaming me, his death, and just terrible time. And then one day I was working, one day I was coming back from work, crying. Jesus said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you. For my strength is made perfect in your weakness." And I knew his grace is perfect for me. And then he said, we would work together. But I didn't know what he was talking about, so I forgot everything. After 4 years later, I went to Japan to see my parents, and then we came across this memorial grave, and it says it was the Far East prisoners of war, all British. They were working in Taibam Railway. There are numerous people are working there, but 300 British POWs, after the completion Taibam Railway came to this countryside. There was the Iruka copper mine, and they were working in the copper mine. But 16 people died, it says. And then when I saw when I saw this, I was so amazed and delighted, and I was so touched by the kindness of the people who made this. It's nowhere, nobody knows, nobody goes there, that there was a beautiful place. And then when I saw the 16 names, I thought 16 mothers. I must tell the mothers, I must find the mothers and tell them and show them the photos that your sons are not forgotten. Then that night, I stayed at my brother's. He lived in the city. And then there was a evening paper. It said there was a memorial service on that spot, and 20 people did the memorial service for the 16 people. And it says that there were 100 school children aged 15 were sent to the copper mine to work in a field or vegetable garden or something like that. And then those school children, they become very friendly with the POWs. When I met the school children, they was in their 60s, and they said that the POWs would be in their 70s. And the copper mine head was an internationally minded person. He had lots of business in the Far East as well. And he told the people, treat the POWs equal as human beings. So the place was comparably nicer place than other places. And the school children learned English from the POWs, and then in the newspaper it said, they were saying, we miss the POWs, they taught us English. How are they living now? We want to see them again. And then same night, many things happened, and I thought I have to find the mothers, but because I met one of the school children at that time, and I thought I must find the POWs and bring them here to do the memorial service together. And then I prayed what God really want to do with me. I went to Japan many times to meet people who knew the POWs there, and also people who were in the Far East in the war. And then a year later, I met Joe Cummings. He lived in Northumberland, and he was very open-minded, and he came to our home to stay because he was making lots of like apples and fruits and vegetables, tables, and all sorts of things from the old wood. So there was woodwork exhibition in London. So he came there and stayed with us. And then my son, elder son Danny, and I went to see them. And Joe showed all the pictures I sent. I sent lots of them enlarged. And then he went to POW club, one of his, they had lots of POW clubs around that time all over England. And he went his one, show them the photos, and Japanese people are coming, and I will bring them to introduce you. And then they said, what are you talking about? No Japanese. Never we see the Japanese in our lives again. And those photos are not true. Joe was really, really scolded, but he took us to his very close friend who was in the copper mine with him. And when I visited these people, in no time, we just felt we are families. And they showed me little copper ore they took. And they had the chopsticks, and then they had the fan. They said that the mine company gave them the fan when they left Japan, and lots of their friends' names are in, and some of the Japanese names are there as well. And they didn't tell me anything difficult things, bitter things. They just told me something interesting things and something nice. And I really appreciated it. And then lots of things happened. And and Joe told me there is a national conference, POW conference in the Barbican Center in London. So you must go there. There would be more Iruka people, Iruka POWs there. So then he introduced me a lady whose father was Joe's officer. And then I met her, and I told her I am going to this conference in October. And she said, no, you are not going there. You can't go there. It's not the place for Japanese to be there. But I said, I promised Joe I'm going. He said, don't go there. If you go, they will eat you alive. But Jesus said, let's go. So I went. It says, love has no fear. So if I really love people, I should be going. And then this is the conference. They said there's 1,000 people were there. And I wanted to buy a ticket, but they wouldn't sell me. So I prayed and prayed and prayed and waited for a long time. When the conference started, they sold me the ticket, so I went in. And the atmosphere was very heavy, very dark. I could feel the hatred they had against the Japanese and their frustration and heavy heart. And I was praying, and then Jesus said to me, I love them as much as I love you. I died for them as much as I died for you. And then he said, I love the Japanese just as much. Tell them my love. Show them my love. Just Jesus was so speaking to me And, and then I remembered when my husband died, Jesus said, we will work together. I remember this was what Jesus meant. I was born to tell people God's love, just as Jesus loves me. Just I was nobody and nothing, but he still loves me, so I had to tell people God's love. That's what I thought. And then many things happened, and I took 26 people to Japan. This is my house at that time. And then there were those school children at that time, wartime. They helped me a lot, and fundraising was very, very hard, but God enabled us to take them. And then we did the memorial service. About 100 people were there. And this, he was with the camera. He was really, really hated Japan, and he said, there is no memorial at all. You are lying. I will go and have a, I tell you the truth. He came, but we prayed for him, especially. And then he is the most person who changed. After the service, he came to me, Keiko, I laid my ghost. I am free. And lots of people came to me. We even feel love towards Japanese people. And yeah, and these, there was the school building was their camp, and they were given blanket each and uniform, very different from other camps they experienced. And after we came back to England, they said, please continue this work, because there are so many others who are still suffering. And then the wives telephoned me, and the letter came from them saying, my husband has changed. My whole family has changed. There's no more nightmare. Please continue this. Yeah. So I continued. I didn't know how I could do this, but because the Japanese people also, they were so happy, and there were lots of repentance and forgiveness. So just God kept pushing me to do this. I was working, but I had to. So many times we came, and these people very happy, but at first they were shouting at me and just telling me to clear off or things like that. But they're so changed. And we go to, Hiroshima or Nagasaki also, and there are lots of school children. And Hiroshima people, these people are most of them are victims of the atomic bomb. Their families, also themselves, some of them. And they said to me, we thought we were the victims of the war. We never knew there was POWs, and we did such evil thing to the POWs. And they apologized to the POWs, and then POWs said, we thought because of the bomb we set free, so we just welcomed the atomic bombs, but after seeing, when we saw in the museum, after seeing all these things happen to human beings, not soldiers, we are so sorry about this. The West has done such evil, and they apologized to people in Hiroshima, and because they both experienced such a hard experience, they come together strongly. And then one of the ladies said, I want to really learn English better. I said, oh, come to England, stay at my house. And then this lady was in white, she went to Sheffield University for 6 months, being cared about POW family. And then she wasn't a Christian, but she became a Christian also. So people exchange each other, go and coming back. The families also exchange. And this is the Hiroshima. And then Stanley, who was sitting on the wheelchair, he hated Japanese and he never wanted to go, but his friend persuaded him to come to Japan. And we visited universities, we had a meeting with the university students, and all sorts of people said, what happened? Please let us know. And people apologized. So his heart melted, and when he went home, he didn't need a wheelchair anymore. This kind of thing happened so many times. Yeah. So each person standing there has beautiful stories. And yeah, this is Nagasaki, and this also who is sitting in a wheelchair, and then the people who are standing, Japanese, were war criminals, but they apologized. And then also Harry, sitting on there, didn't need any more wheelchair. And this is my home. We have a lunch meeting. POWs were saying, we experienced living hell. There was no food, no drinking, cannot speak anything. So I decided I will make my house a heaven. And they can come and eat anything as much as they want, drink only soft drinks, drink as much as they want, and speak anything they want to say, their experiences, anything, we will listen. So some Japanese people came also. So this has become very popular. So at the beginning, some people said, oh, never go to Japanese houses, never. And then once they come, and they just couldn't stop coming. So, yeah. Oh, there's a man called Hiroshi Abe, who was a war criminal in the Tai-Bam Railway. And lots of people under him died. He was only in early 20s at that time. He was working in Shinkansen, it's a bread train, engineer, so he was sent to do this by Taiwan Railway thing. And those POWs I met who were under him said, if he had a human heart, not so many people died, because it was such a big number of people died. And then in the course of many things happened, I got to know Hiroshi Abe, and then I sent him a little booklet I made before, and then he gave me a letter as soon as he said, as soon as he got it, he couldn't stop reading it, and he was saying, thank you so much. And then I met him in Tokyo a few times, and then one day he said, Keiko-san, I want to tell you everything. Please listen to me. I'll tell you everything. And then he told me what happened in the war and lots of difficulties POWs are facing and he was facing. And then after the war, the officers were just disappeared. They didn't even know it was the war ended. The young one was left, and then all the young ones were became criminals because those officers were not there. But anyway, he said he wants to apologize. He was in Sugamo prison. He was waiting for being hanged. But one day, suddenly, he was set free. And he was researching why he was set free. And then one of the POWs, at first, he was accusing Abe, but in the end, he said to the court, he said, Abe Hiroshi was such a young man and had such a heavy duty, heavy responsibility. It is too bad to finish him. So that words set him free, apparently, and he was looking for this POW to say thank you, but he found out he was already died. And then he told me, why I am still alive, should have been dead, and then this POW who helped my life is dead. What is happening? And I was thinking this all the time. And then I had a conclusion. Because I know the war, God wants me to stay alive, to tell people what was happening. And then he said, whenever you bring the POWs, let me come to your meeting. I want to apologize. And then he came to and then Jesus says, if we confess our sins, because he will forgive us. And we were having a memorial service in the British Commonwealth Cemetery in Yokohama. And he came and he apologized. And then the POWs rushed into him and they were hugging him and shaking hands. You are forgiven. You are brave. and they become very friends. And then Abe Hiroshi said, my life is not long, but whenever you bring the POWs, let me meet them. That is my my hope in my life, he said. And this is Lon. When I first saw him, I said hello, and he said, I don't like Japanese. And he went away. And second year, I said hello. He said, went away. Third year, he said hello, and he went away. And the fourth time, in the POW's holiday place, and he invited to his chalet, and lots of his friends were there. And I asked him if he wanted to speak. And then he spoke about his experiences, and I asked him if I could record it. And he said, yes, and please tell your students. And then after he spoke, he said, it was good I spoke to you. I feel much better now. And then I said, let's go to Japan. You feel much, much better. And he couldn't say yes immediately, but his wife, Mary, was such a lovely lady. He said, I can go to Japan. And she persuaded Ron to come to Japan, and they came. And in Tokyo, we had a farewell party reception in Tokyo. More than 100 people came, and then Abe Hiroshi came, and he apologized on the stage. And he was Ron was under him. So at first he felt such a difficulty, but he decided he will forgive. And they became friends. And after this, Ron became so happy. And then when we came home, he rang me. He often rang me. And he said, do you know what my neighbors are saying to me? They are saying, Ron, you are looking younger these days. What's the secret? And then also, we stayed one night in Japanese homes. And then Ron stayed in Kyushu. And there was a high school boy in that family. And then when they came to see him off in the station, and then little boy said, I am sorry, Ron. And then Ron said, nothing to do with you. You didn't know, you were not born. But I want to say sorry. And that also touched him. And when this boy asked him, can we come to your house for 1 week in Christmas time? Usually it's no, but Ron let him stay, and his family helped him. We are keep in touch with the family as well. Lots of them we keep in touch. And Abe Hiroshi also, he started singing worship songs, talking about God. And there are so many things. This is Chinese young man who interpreted when I spoke in China. And he said, I hated Japanese, hated so much. But when I was listening to you, I felt I would like to learn Japanese. And I have been, I hated my father for a long time, but I thought I need to reconcile. Yeah, lots of things happened, but yeah, I went to America, I went to all sorts of places, and I went to Hong Kong as well. I haven't got the photo, but yeah, I went to Hong Kong, a Bible, prayer meeting as well. I apologized there. Yeah. Yeah. And the empress was so happy. Emperor and empress were very, very happy about it. And then the queen also, she was very happy. Probably she was getting lots of letters that Japan did this and that, and the POWs are very angry. But we, POWs, and we met the queen, and she must have been very, very pleased. And so God is so good. We need lots of prayers from you. And thank you.